Hello, everyone. This is an experimental demonstration about cracking the chemical code and identifying three unknown chemicals using spectroscopy and combustion analysis. We're students from Cerritos College. My name is Eric Gaspar.
My name is Jamila Mola.
And my name is Trinity Ponce.
All right, so the objective of this experiment is to identify an unknown chemical compound using combustion analysis, infrared spectrums, and NMR. By combining these techniques, the structural identity of the unknown is found with precision. This study highlights the application of spectral data in chemical identification. So for our group number 13, we were required to find the identities and structures of three unknown compounds by analyzing combustion, infrared spectroscopies, and NMR data. Our combustion analysis provided information to find the specific elements of the compounds, which were the relative quantities of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in the compounds. Our spectroscopy then helps to detect the functional groups present in each compound through corresponding vibrational frequencies, while both CNMR and HNMR provides information about the chemical environment and the structure. With all these methods combined, we were able to identify the molecular structure of the unknowns.
And for the experimental, the unknown underwent combustion analysis captured on an Ultra CW800 by burning a given mass and collecting carbon dioxide and water on filters to obtain the massive product. The HNMR and CNMR spectra were captured by a 100 MHz analysis, 100 probe multinuclear spectrometer, and the IR spectra was captured on the FT-IR diamond cell Nicolette IS5. And a quick overview of our structures. Eric's unknown 22 was succinate acid, my unknown 13 was malonic acid, as shown above, and Jamila's unknown 42 was vanillin. And now to Eric's results.
So the first set of data that was collected is regarding unknown number 22 and sufficiently proves that the unknown molecule is succinate acid. The combustion data to the right of the structure was used to calculate the molecular formula that was determined to be C4H6O4. And if you look at the structure, you can tell it consists of two carboxylic acid groups at the end of a chain of carbons, and there are two CH2 groups at the middle of that. Figure 1 shows the HNMR spectra that consists of only two signals, and this is due to the symmetry of the molecule. So the middle two protons of the two CH2 groups would be the signal that is furthest upfield, and the signal that is furthest downfield is the protons that are on the carboxylic acid group. Figure 2 is the IR spectra. And so you can see the broad OH peak there and a very distinct carbonyl peak at 1682. Figure 3 is the CNMR spectra, and this also returns two signals. You can see the two signals are equivalent in size and integration. This is because they both consist of two equivalent carbons, two for the outer carboxylic acid carbons and two for the inner CH2 carbons.
So for number 42, we can see that the combustion data, and based off the given combustion data, we were able to determine that the molecular formula was C8H8O3. So for figure 1, we can see that there are four signals, and the signal at 3.9 ppm represents a methoxy group, and the multiplet signals at 7 ppm and 8 ppm represent aromatic. These two signals are equivalent, which indicates that there is a para substitution pattern on the benzene ring, and the most downfield signal at 10 ppm represents a carboxylic acid. For figure 5, we can see that there's a beater-like peak from 3000 to 2500, which represents a COOH peak. We can see some benzene overtones from 2000 to 1600 as well. The strong peak at 1675 represents a carbonyl group, and the peaks at 1600 to 1475 represent aromatic ring. In figure 6, we can see that CNMR captured all of these signals, and the most significant signals are these signals from 110 to 130, which represents the benzene ring, and these peaks are higher because they are equivalent carbons on a para ring.
Okay, and for my unknown 13, with the combustion analysis data, we were able to determine the molecular and empirical formulas for C3H4O4. Figure 7 shows the HNMR spectra, returning two signals due to the symmetry in the structure. One signal most upfield for the methylene group, and the signal most downfield for the carboxylic acids on both sides. Figure 8 shows the IR spectra that was captured, and you are shown the broad OH peak, the carboxylic acid peak, and the carbonyl peak. And for figure 9, the CNMR was also shown, and there is one signal that is bigger than the other due to, again, one having more equivalent carbons than the other. There are two equivalent carbons for the carboxylic acid and one on the most upfield signal for the methylene group in between. And now for our discussion. For unknown 13, it was discovered that the unknown substance was malonic acid. This is shown with the NMR and IR spectra collected. On the IR spectra of the unknown, there are 3 prominent peaks present: a hydroxyl peak at 2900 wave numbers, a carboxylic acid peak at approximately 2600 wave numbers, and a carbonyl peak at 1696.36 wave numbers. These peaks confirm the presence of our functional groups of hydroxyl, carboxylic acid, and carbonyl groups. On both the HNMR and CNMR spectra, there are only 2 signals present due to the symmetry of the compound.
Unknown number 22 was determined to be succinate acid. This is backed by the data that was collected from the spectroanalysis techniques like NMR and IR. After analyzing the IR spectra, it is confirmed that the certain functional groups that are present in the unknown molecule include a OH group and the carbonyl group of the carboxylic acids. In addition, the CNMR and HNMR both consist of 2 signals, both singlets. For the CNMR, this automatically implies that the molecule is symmetric because there are a total of 4 carbons, making 2 different pairs of carbons chemically equivalent, reducing the number of signals down to 2. This would also explain why there are only 2 signals on the HNMR, because if there are a pair of carbons that are equivalent to each other, this would mean that the protons on that carbon are also equivalent to each other.
So unknown 42 was identified as vanillin based on the IR, HNMR, and CNMR. The IR spectra shows an absorption at 1675, indicating a carbonyl group. The beard-like absorption at 3000 to 2500 represents a COOH peak. The IR also showed absorptions consistent with the benzene ring. The HNMR and CNMR confirmed this as well. The HNMR also confirmed the presence of a carboxylic acid, as did the CNMR. Both the CNMR and HMR also indicated the location of substituents through the equivalent signals, which proved it to be a pair substitution pattern on the benzene ring. All of this data and the HNMR, CNMRs of IR, combined with the molecular formula C8H8O3 proven through combustion analysis, come together to prove that the unknown number 42 is indeed vanillin.
Overall, the chemical determination was a success. First and foremost, determining the empirical formula from the combustion data analysis became a tool when confirming the presence of functional groups using IR spectra, as well as confirming the carbon and hydrogen environments of the unknown molecule through NMR to ultimately make an accurate prediction. This demonstrates the effectiveness of these techniques for a precise chemical determination.
And here are our references for our experiment. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful night.